Cranial Sacral is my passion. Slowing down the cranial pulse, that allows the client to go into an altered state. I call it my cranial sacral is a nervous system massage. Allow your heart to guide you.
Are you ready to explore the unseen? From the depths of the soul to the vastness of the cosmos, we're diving into the extraordinary. Mediumship, astrology, spirituality, the paranormal, and more. Welcome to your bridge to the other side. Now join us as we unravel the mysteries of the universe, one question at a time, with your host, Kat Walker.
Welcome, everybody. This is one of our new episodes of Your Bridge to the Other Side. I'm your host, Kat Walker, and this is the podcast in which we're going to be discussing all things metaphysical. We're going to be discussing paranormal activities, mediumship, astrology, energy healing, aliens, and all the things in between. It's going to be a little, I guess you would say, on the woo-woo side, which isn't a term I like to use, but people kind of understand what that means when I say it. I'm very excited to have today's guest because today's guest is somebody who is a shaman, an energy healer. He's well renowned. Now, his name is James Gilliland, and he is a very humble guy, so he's going to have a really hard time hearing this because I already know him. But he also is my personal practitioner who works with me, so I know the work he does very well. He's the person I send people to when I think they need the type of work that James can do. He brings many tools to his practice. Some of the modalities that he uses are Reiki, cranial sacral therapy, breath work, vibrational therapy, shamanism, and soul retrieval. And there is a lot to cover here. I know we're not going to be able to cover it in full detail, but we're going to get as deep as we have time to today. And I hope that we all learn something. So, James, welcome. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
I can personally attest to James's expertise. So I think we will start with an area that maybe some of you will have a little bit of understanding, because that will kind of help you gradually understand maybe the rest of what this type of work is about. So the first thing I think that people ask me a lot about, who are not familiar, is what is Reiki? And if you could briefly explain what Reiki is and what the benefits could be to the individual.
Reiki is a Japanese healing modality that came from the 1920s or 30s by Dr. Usui. It uses symbols, and it is a energy channeling type of technique that works on your chakras. And your chakras are energy centers within the body. You have the crown, the third eye, the throat, the heart, solar plexus, the sacrum, and then the root. And so with Reiki, the traditional Reiki, you would work with those chakras because those are the energy centers of the different parts of the body. So Reiki has evolved since Dr. Usui. Anymore, as I am a Reiki master in 4 or 5 different disciplines. I did the original Usui teacher training Reiki, Shaman Reiki. I've done Karuna Reiki, and then I'm a shamanic Reiki master, a Usui Reiki master, a Karuna Reiki master, and the latest is Holy Fire Reiki master.
Wow.
And Holy Fire has went from Holy Fire 1, 2, and the latest is Holy Fire Reiki 3. And the Holy Fire Reiki came from William Rand. That is the founder of Reiki Alliance
Wow.
here in the world. So
Wow. It sounds like then you've had a lot of different experience and trainers and experience in that area itself.
definitely, yes. And it has evolved.
What sent you on this journey in the beginning regarding getting into these different healing modalities? Where did you start with all this?
I actually started with massage. Massage back in the 80s. There wasn't a lot of schools around for massage. I was actually a water ski team show person, and a lot of the personnel on the team always had some sore parts of their bodies, from face plants of barefooting to just the strenuous and just the water skiing. And so I laid my hands upon it. I just know, walking up to a person as an empath, I know where they're hurting. And so I would always just go to the part that was sore, and after a few minutes, they would be okay. And one of the team members said, "You need to do this as a profession." And at that time, I was a newspaper pressman. And so it's like, she gave me the information of a teacher, Maggie Kelly, up in Topeka, Kansas. And I thought that after a couple of weekends taking the training that I would be certified. And that was an interesting experience for me, because I was super modest. I'm still modest, but I was super modest then. And I had no idea that massage training would require me to remove my clothes while I'm being worked on. And so I remember the biggest man in the class, it took 3 towels to wrap around him to cover him all. And, the teacher says, "Okay, everybody pick your person." And he says, "You're my person." And I says, "I'm not going to argue with you." And then she said, "Who goes on the table first?" And he said, "I'm going on," that he was going to go on the table. And from there on, I had a great massage. I actually danced with massage. And I remember on my graduation, I had to massage. I was teamed up with an older lady that reminded me of my grandma. And I was so uncomfortable, because as an older person, things aren't where they are on a fit person. And so it's like how to drape a person. I was so uncomfortable. I'm glad I had that experience in class, because the teacher was able to instruct me better. And I also got to feel if the practitioner is uncomfortable, that is magnified 10 times to the client that's on the table. And so I realized that the healing process is all about the safety that the practitioner can create while the person's on the table. And that's how I got started in the energy work and the other modalities in the spiritual world that I've become.
Did you feel like when you were doing massage therapy to start, that when you touched people, you felt something different and drawing you to do deeper work?
I would say initially, yes.
Okay.
I also learned through my experiences that the deeper I usually went into the body, the less results would come. Because if I go too deep into the muscle will resist me. So there's a fine line as to your touch. And I've found that the lighter the touch, the deeper therapeutic good that happens.
Interesting.
And also, you have to have enough pressure to meet the muscle to where it's at, to kind of wake it up, but not to go so deep that it's going to resist you.
Wow. Now, we're going to skip around a little bit because I want to be able to touch on several different things. And one of the things I really want to touch on is cranial sacral techniques and therapy. Because personally, the first time you used this on me, I went into such a deep state that does not just heal me from a physical standpoint, but actually healed a very old childhood trauma that I had been working on for many years as a therapist and in therapy to cleanse myself of. And it was the first time in my life that I actually was able to get any release from that. So it's something very special. So could you kind of explain about that modality?
Yes, cranial sacral is my passion. Cranial sacral takes all of what I've learned and I can use it all in one modality. So I'm going to read a little bit about what cranial sacral is, and then I'll freestyle it as to how
Makes perfect sense.
I use it. Cranial sacral system consists of membranes and cerebral spinal fluid that surrounds and protects the brain and the spinal cord. It extends from the bones to the skull, face, and mouth, and which make up the cranium down to the sacrum, which is the tailbone area. It influences the development and performance of the brain and spinal cord. An imbalance or restriction in it could potentially cause a number of sensory, motor, and neurological disabilities. These problems could include chronic pain, eye difficulties, scoliosis, motor coordination, impairments, learning disabilities, and other health challenges. And then finally, it says craniosacral is a gentle method of detection and correction that encourages your own natural healing mechanisms to dissipate these negative effects of stress on your central nervous system. And you also benefit better overall health and resistance to diseases. With all that said, I call it my craniosacral is a nervous system massage. It's working with the body, the energy bodies, and like when you fall on occasion, you'll hurt yourself, and then some kind of traumatic thing will happen, or some kind of emotional event will happen. And that emotional event will go into the weakest part of the body. And usually that would create what we call an energy cyst. And with the cranial sacral system, we are able to work with that energy cyst to release those emotions. Craniosacral, in the training of craniosacral, you have craniosacral 1, 2, then you go to, you can go to the clinical, which I did, and then, which is rather advanced down at the Institute of Pleasure. And then there's SER1, Somato Emotional Release 1, and Somato Emotional Release 2. And that's when you really get into releasing the energy cysts and the trauma work that you experienced.
Well, I know, James, that when you have practiced this on me, the only way I can explain it to people, because I have tried to explain it to people, especially when I'm telling them that they could benefit from this, is I literally within seconds disappear and go to a different place. It's like I'm in a different level of consciousness, different place, different, almost an altered state of sorts. And that is all part of the process.
Yes, as far as going for an individual to really touch into their inner healer, their inner physician, I call it the inner shaman. Everybody has an inner guidance to what is back to their original authentic selves. And that's what I call the inner shaman or inner physician. And to reach that space within yourself, you have to have your mind turned off. You can't, most of us are wired to think our way through life. And that doesn't work in the healing industry. You need to allow your heart to guide you, which is your soul self. And in order, the cranial sacral, by slowing down the cranial pulse, there's a part where we do still point. And in the still point, we actually reset the nervous system. We kind of turn it off for a little bit. And that allows the client to go into an altered state. And that's where you go whenever your mind is turned off. You might have visions and different messages come to you through that stage. But that's where you go for your body to heal itself. I just facilitate. I don't really do the healing.
We have so much to cover here. I think we should probably take a break and come back and do another segment.
Love to.
So everybody hang on. We're going to do another episode after this with James. We have a lot to cover, and we will be back next week with the next episode.
We hope you found this episode of Your Bridge to the Other Side enlightening and insightful. Kat Walker appreciates you spending time with her, and as a token of her appreciation, she is offering a unique opportunity to 10 of the first 50 subscribers, a free 15-minute reading with Kat Walker. To enter, you must subscribe to our podcast. Next, email the date you subscribed, your full name, phone number, city and state, and your question. Send that to yourbridgetotheotherside@gmail.com. Again, that email address is yourbridgetotheotherside@gmail.com. This offer is limited to the first 50 subscribers and is only available to residents of the United States. You must be at least 18 years of age to enter. Don't miss out. Winners will be selected randomly and notified via email. To learn more about Kat Walker and her mediumship services, visit her website at katwalkermedium.com. Join us next time as we delve deeper into the fascinating world of mediumship, astrology, psychic abilities, spirituality, numerology, and more on Your Bridge to the Other Side.